Good morning. Today we're going to talk about what Filipinos do before, during, and after a storm. I learned a lot with this past one and the differences that exist between how Americans handle big storms and how Filipinos handle big storms. So let's get right into it. Hi, I'm Bob. So today I was thinking about doing a different video, but I really wanted to talk about this subject, and the differences between the U.S. and here when it comes to storms. And it's a stark contrast. So we'll start with the U.S. Now, I lived up in the Northeast, and when we would get ready for storms, everybody would rush to the store, get bread, get eggs, get milk, all that stuff. The essentials. Store shelves would be empty days before the storm. And we would just hunker down and be ready. You know, whether it's a blizzard or a hurricane or whatever, you just get ready. You know, load up on beer, you know. But here, it's not like that. Life was normal up until the wind started, the wind and the rain. Then everybody disappears. And then as soon as everything stops, or is getting close to stopping, people, even with the wind going, they'll be riding their bikes up and down the street. They don't go to the store and stock up on anything. They don't. I had to go to the store just to make sure we had enough basic essentials. And store was stocked. It was just a regular day, nothing big. The storm was a couple hours away, and nobody really cared. Nobody. I was watching videos of people to my east where they were standing on the beach racing the storm surge up the beach as it came in. Wave would come in and they'd run in front of it, and they were laughing and giggling. I mean, yeah, we do surf those waves, but still, it just blew my mind. And schools were canceled. Now they're back on today. Schools were canceled, non-essential services were canceled, but they don't force people to close. It's up to the owner of the store to close. If they don't want to close, they don't have to here. That's another thing that blows my mind. In the States, they tell you everything is closed, and there's no getting around it. So they're trying to pass a bill here now with these call centers because the managers of the call centers wouldn't let anybody go home during the storm, and they're on like high rises. So now they're trying to pass a bill here where they have to let them go. It's happened a couple times here. Something like that happened. They don't stock up, as far as I see, they don't stock up on alcohol. Here they don't eat a whole lot of bread, at least loaf bread. It just blows my mind. Why? It's so different. It was surreal. It really was. I remember as a kid, listening to the radio and waiting for a school to close. Here they put it out over Facebook. The damage. The damage here was minimal. A couple roof. You have the metal roof, like sheets. A couple of those blew off, but other than that, nothing much. But yeah, there was a couple guys who rode around on their motorcycles or their motorbikes in the storm, during the storm, pouring rain, windy, and they had their raincoats on. God bless the Filipinos. Here, in the States, we're all worried and hyped up, and yeah, not here. They don't get worried about a storm. Especially, the girlfriend was telling me, up here they don't get, where we're at in central Luzon area, they don't get a whole lot of typhoons here, like full strength typhoons, which the 2 years that I've been here, I agree, because there's a mountain range behind us called the San Martin Mountains, and it's to our east. And that mountain range will usually quell the typhoon coming in. This time it did very little to it because it was just so large. Um, but down in the south where she's from, they got hit hard because they don't have that protection. But this was the first time in the 2 years that I've been here through, I think it's like 8 typhoons now, um, that I actually felt the full force of one. Um, it was intense at night. We lost our power for, I think it was like 14 hours, and then once we got it back on, it was on for a few more hours, and then we lost it again. But then it came right back on, probably about, I don't know, like an hour later. Um, they're trying to, I guess they're doing an experiment in Manila that they're going to be burying the lines. I don't know how well that's going to work in this country. Don't know. So yeah, just kind of. I was asking the girlfriend about it. Why do they just walk out in the middle of a typhoon? It's what they do here. They don't care. Even the sorry across the street from me was open basically till they lost power, and then they stayed closed. They were open very late. I think it was maybe, I don't know, 7, 8 o'clock at night. They were open. To them, that's late. And they had shut down briefly because one of their metal roof sheets came off, so they had shut down to kind of replace that. But then they opened back up. Yeah, how people handle storms here blows my mind. But we're all alive. We're all safe, and yeah, those are the differences. U.S. freaks out. Here, they don't care. They don't give a shit. Um, at least in my area. It's just maybe because they're not used to like a full force of a typhoon, but it was just crazy. Okay, so hopefully everybody has a good day, and if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Thank you very much.